Hey guys, I'm making this video. Um, as you guys saw on Instagram, I asked you guys what topic you wanted me to talk about. I'm on YouTube, and I'm picked this topic from the Red Bull FC. He asked, can you talk about how and why Italy have been struggling recently? So that's what I'm gonna be talking about today, and. This has been, in my opinion, a problem that's been going, that's been kind of boiling for many years now. Anybody that has been watching Italian football, um, you know, may know this or not, but in the 90s and in the early 2000s, Italian football was pretty much the cream of the crop. They were pretty much the strongest league in the world. They had all the superstars. I'm talking about Ronaldo, not the Ronaldo now, the Ronaldo 9 from Brazil, Zidane, Batistuta, Cafu, Maldini, Vieri. I mean, you name it. I mean, Inter, AC Milan, Juventus, they were loaded with Roma, Totti, Lazio. They had Job Stam, Alessandro Nesta, Pavel Nedved. I mean, the top talent in the world was playing in Italy, and pretty much in the 80s, 90s, and into the 2000s to I would say mid 2010s. But slowly, but surely, these people around the world, in my opinion, they like people with a lot of money, they started to see wealth in football. And I believe that these wealthy people, they started to buy clubs in England, and the English teams, they started having owners that had a lot of money and deep pockets. I'm talking about in the early 2000s. This kind of started happening, and those teams like Chelsea, like Manchester United, who else? Arsenal, Manchester City. I mean, the bottom line is that the English team, people started investing in these teams in England, and they started to get very wealthy, and able to buy all the best players. That was pretty much a start in the early 2000s or late 90s. And at the same time, Italian soccer really wasn't fazed by this. I mean, they still were pretty dominant over these teams. I know they lost to Liverpool. AC Milan lost to Liverpool in Champions League final after they beat them 3-0. But other than that, the Italian teams, they really didn't have too much problem with English teams in the Champions League. Even when they had the financial prowess over Italian teams. And so we're in the 2000s, and we get to 2006, and then we have this this issue with Juventus over here, and the Calcio issue, the scandal that the Calciopoli scandal, and that was in my opinion a big issue, and really did a PR hit on the Italian league. And so that did not help matters. Italy won the World Cup in 2006, but still, they still had that scandal to deal with. And Juventus, they had to go into the B division, and they won the World Cup. In 2007, AC Milan, they won the Champions League over Liverpool. And then in 2010, Inter won the Champions League. So they were still strong in the 2000 and 2010 time, even though, like I said, these English teams, they were getting very financially a big financial advantage over the Italian teams, and the Spanish teams. I mean, Real Madrid, Barcelona, they've always had a lot of money to spend on all these players, and I think Barcelona now in 2022, they're paying for all those bad, all this money they spent. So back to the question, how come Italian football, hasn't been as good as lately? So really with the English teams, getting more financially stable, and the Calciopoli scandal, that was really, in my opinion, the beginning of the Italian league falling from the top, which the top would be right now the Premier League is the top league in the world. And so and I think because so much money had got involved with these teams in England, that they're just spending all this kind of money on players. Like, for example, the English teams, they buy everybody. Shevchenko, they bought him from Milan, I think like 30 million euros back then. But they just had like so much money they would just spend. It didn't matter. And I feel like in the 2010s, that time, Inter and AC Milan, their owners, I think they kind of like, saw the writing on the wall that in order to be competitive in football, you have to spend a lot of money. And historically, I mean, Inter and AC Milan, they would buy players, but for these kind of fees that English players English teams are paying for was something I don't think that they were keen on. And so they sold Berlusconi sold AC Milan, and Massimo Moratti, he sold Inter. And those clubs, Inter and AC Milan, they kind of dwindled for like a decade. They really weren't strong, that good, and they really had a hard time finding themselves and what they finding who they were, and that impacted the Italian league. And the team that took over, in my opinion, was the Juventus, after they got back into the Serie A and they won all those Scudettos. I want to say 9 in a row. And this is what has contributed to where we are now. After the 2006 World Cup, Italy went to the World Cup in South Africa in 2010, and didn't even get out of the group stage. And, I feel that was, because the Italian team at that time, that team, that was kind of a team that was over its cycle. And, they went back to Marcello Lippi, and they didn't have, a good competition. And then they went to 2014 in Brazil, and they started off strong. They beat England, but then they lost to Uruguay and Costa Rica. And I think that that team, I don't know where, it was a good team, but I think maybe that the weather over there. Very hot in Brazil, that had some effect to do with them, even though the year before they played in the Confederations Cup. But as you can see, over this last decade, 2010, 2006, 2010, all the way up to now, this big influx in money, and the Calciopoli scandal, it really affected Italian football. With historic owners like Berlusconi and Maratti selling the club, and those clubs really being lost for like a decade, and Juventus, them being relegated because of their scandal. So that really affected them and the performance in Europe, and the performance as a league in general. Juventus dominated the league from 2010 to 2020, and only recently, we're seeing the resurgence of Inter, AC Milan, in Roma, and Napoli. Napoli's been a decent. Atalanta. So only now do I think that the Italian league, maybe Italian football in general, may be taking a turn here, but they got to keep the momentum going. Italy, they won the Euro 2020, and like mistakes in the past, they kept with the old team and system, and unfortunately with some bad luck, people got injured, and they had this fiasco. They didn't qualify for the 2022 World Cup. They didn't qualify for the 2018 World Cup. I think the 2018 World Cup, that has a lot to do with what was his name? Ventura, the coach over there. But so this is, in my opinion, has not just been one thing. It's been a series of things that's led to, these things I'm talking about, that led to Italian football being in the state that it's in. Italian football, anybody that that's had contact with Italians, they're very, stubborn people, and they also, like, in my opinion, have the mentality, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. So, I think we're getting a lot of this now in Italy with trying to rebuild these stadiums. There's a lot of red tape. They're not able to build the stadiums to compete with these other teams because the bureaucracy so I think the stadiums has also been an issue, even though, Juventus has a new stadium, Atalanta has a new stadium, Udinese has a renovated stadium. Roma, their stadium has been renovated, but they're looking for a new one. AC Milan and Inter are looking for a new one. But in addition to the big influx of money in the English league, the Italian teams, they're trying to build newer stadiums, some of the clubs, so that they could attract new people to the game. And so I also think that this red tape and bureaucracy in Italy on getting new stadiums and has also hindered Italian football. And I think that, also because there's just so much money in football these days, like with these English teams, that the Italian teams, the club teams, they're not they're not giving chances to the Italian players in Italy because, they want to win now, and they feel like they gotta, spend money and get some foreign player that's already proven, and that's hindering the Italian development of the players. So, this is my, explanation on why we are where we are. But, I think that we're, Italian football is on the on a good, I think they've turned the corner. They need to generate more revenue in Italian football, and and they got to do that by getting better TV deals. I see that they're finally reaching out to around the world, to different areas in the world, to try to promote the league to the younger generation, and do more of that, which is great. It's going to help the TV money, and they need to build new stadiums so that once they get these new people watching, these people are interested in going to the stadiums. The English Premier League, I'm not a big fan of the English Premier League, but I do realize that, statistically, it's the #1 league in the world. But if anybody has been watching soccer for a long time, they know that football is cyclical. In the 90s into the mid 2010s, the Italian league was the strongest league, and we had the most success in Champions League. Then Spain took over, and now the English Premier League has had some strong seasons, and the Italian league is I feel like they're making the change, and they're turning the corner, and we got to keep it going. They got to keep it, marketing the league and selling it to the younger generation. What beautiful football and teams and culture, and we need to build new stadiums in Italy, to go with that. So that's my reasons why Italian football hasn't been at the top in the last 10 to 15 years. We're not at the when I say the top, I'm saying #1. Italian football is still statistically the third top league in the world. And the Italian national team, even though we had this stupid miss in the World Cup 22, they're still the European champions. The Italian team, they had a lot of injuries when they went to go play that playoff, and it really shouldn't have gotten to that. So this is the reason why I believe that Italian football has been struggling. This did not start happening a year ago. I'm gonna summarize. In the early 2000s, people started seeing that the football was a good investment, and they bought these teams and had a lot of money to spend on players. The Calciopoli scandal with Juventus hurt Italian football a lot, hurt the image. These owners of Inter, AC Milan, they sold their teams because I feel like they felt like they didn't want to, they didn't feel like that was a good investment for them, because all these clubs, like Chelsea, that they spend all this money on these players, and that was not arena that these owners wanted to compete in, because they possibly felt that the pricing for these players is just overinflated, because these teams just had so much money. So the Calciopoli scandal, the influx of money, the Inter and AC Milan and other similar teams selling to foreign owners that did not have a vision for the club, and those teams got squandered. Some of the strongest teams in Italy, Juventus took over and kind of won it, the championship every year, and were the pulse of Italy. And the lack of new stadiums, the lack of revenue brought into the league because of poor marketing of the league to the new generation. People my age and maybe a little younger and older around the world, they know about the Serie A and what great soccer it is and Italian football is. They know about that, but the younger generation, I feel like they gravitate towards the Premier League because it's just a better marketed league, and it looks better on TV because of stadiums and stuff like that. So, and the Italian teams, they're not given chances, a lot of opportunities for the Italian players to play, because they're trying to compete with these other teams to win, and they're buying these players that may not be Italian to try to keep up with the Joneses to win. And then on top of that, the Italian players suffering, which which in my opinion harms the Italian national team. But I feel good. We won the Euro 2020 championship. I feel good with the way the club teams are going now. Juventus, they're rebuilding. AC Milan and Inter, they're in good paths. Roma, they're in a good trajectory as well. Napoli, I know they talked about selling some players, but we'll see. There's a lot of more worldwide outreach by the Serie A around the world. So I have hope that we're turning around and we're gonna go back to the top. Like I said, we're at the top, but number one. But that's my explanation on why Italian football is in the current state it is. I'll keep supporting it. Because that's what I love, and you guys keep supporting it too. So, but let me know what you guys think. If you agree, if you don't agree, subscribe to my channel. Make sure you leave a comment, and have a good weekend. We'll see ya. And if you want me to talk about something, send it to me or comment below on YouTube, or you could send me a message on Instagram. All right, we'll see ya.